The decision about whether to carry a pregnancy to term or to terminate that pregnancy rests with the woman.
In a nutshell, abortion almost took my life.
I feel like I saved my life to have the opportunity to have a family if it's God's will.
No matter what anybody said, I knew right then and there that we had just done something very, very wrong.
It's not tonsils, it's not a toenail, it's a baby.
The issue has to do more with respecting the autonomy of women.
Take responsible control for their reproductive cells because they're walking around with time bombs inside of them.
Thank God for pro-choice.
Hi, I'm Richard Rose, your host for Abortion Today. There is perhaps no issue that has divided our country, no topic as passionate and controversial as abortion. In the course of the next 30 minutes, we'll take a sensitive look at this topic with views and opinions from both sides of the issue. You'll hear from the medical community on new procedures and technology. We'll discuss the issue of partial birth abortion and RU486, now approved by the FDA. You'll also hear from people who have performed abortions and those who have had them. But first, how is abortion viewed in the eyes of the religious community? Here to discuss the religious interpretation of abortion is an esteemed panel representing both the pro-life and pro-choice perspectives. Representing pro-life is Monsignor Tom Hartman and Rabbi Mark Gelman. Representing pro-choice is Barbara Kavadias. Barbara is the field director for the Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice, and Rabbi Balfour Brickner. Rabbi Brickner is a past board member of the National Abortion Rights Action League and Planned Parenthood Federation of America, and a longtime pro-choice activist. So thank all of you for joining us. Let me begin with you, Monsignor Hartman. Religiously speaking, why do you feel that abortion is wrong?
Well, I believe that life comes from God, that we don't own our own lives, but God owns them, and that when God gives us the gift of life, we have to protect it. Now, I realize that this is a very complex situation in that many people, when they are pregnant and don't want to be pregnant, are pained about it. In my experience, many of the people feel alone, they feel isolated, and people of faith who believe that life comes from God and returns to God and is sacred, they should surround that person with a lot of love, a lot of support, and help the person get through the pregnancy.
Ms. Kavadias, obviously you feel differently. Why do you feel that abortion is not wrong?
I think it's not wrong for a lot of different reasons, but mainly the fact is that there's nothing in the Bible that says abortion is wrong. In fact, the Bible is silent on abortion. And there's a long Judeo-Christian tradition of saying that abortion is something that has to be left up to the woman to decide. And there's many different views about it in different denominations, and that because we live in a country that recognizes all these different faiths, we have to allow women to live according to their own religious beliefs and make the decisions that is right for them.
Well, it's not exactly so that the Bible is silent on abortion. In Exodus 21:22, of course, we know that there is an incident where two men are fighting and cause a miscarriage in a woman. Right. And the compensation must be paid because of that miscarriage. Now, if the fetus were something of no moral importance whatsoever, if it had no moral rights and was just like a fingernail, there would be no compensation. Also in Job, we have from the womb I have known you. And more than that, we have Jacob and Esau fighting in the womb to assert their own primacy over each other. So all these things give us a clear understanding that from a biblical point of view, and certainly from a Jewish point of view, as interpreted from the Bible, abortion, unless it threatens the life or health of a mother, is absolutely forbidden.
Which is the teaching in the Mishnah.
Wait, you've actually misread Exodus 21. And if you go on and read in that passage, it says if two men are striving and a miscarriage, not an abortion, but a miscarriage is caused, the family is on payment.
Parts is the exact text.
Right, but if the woman herself is harmed or killed, then it is a life for a life, a limb for a limb. Right, it goes on. There's a different moral standing for the fetus versus that of the woman. If the fetus is lost, the family is owned something because there is a loss. But if the woman herself is harmed...
Why would there be a loss?
But it's different.
What kind of loss is it?
It's a loss to you. You had hopes, you had aspirations, you had feelings.
And it would be a good thing for those hopes to be realized.
But that is very different than the treatment of the woman. The treatment for the woman herself is her life.
Sure.
Is lost, then it is a life for a life. Her eye is lost, it is an eye for an eye.
If the fetus was lost,
but if the fetus was lost, right, but if the fetus was lost, it is not a life for those other people.